Thanks a million for staying with us on the show, TMI Monday. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun. And talking about security, today on the show, we'll look at the recent upsurge in cult-related killings in the state. I remember some few years back, we had a similar incident in which the IGP then, Solomon Arase, took the bull by the horn, and there was a crackdown on cultists. And at the end of the day, the system was sanitized. But it looks like there's been a relax on the guard, and these guys are rampaging everywhere. Today is 1 dead, 2 dead, 3 dead, and that's certainly not good for the polity. We don't know what the security agents are doing to nip this challenge in the bud. But just a few days back, we saw the parade of some suspected cultists by the state command of the Nigerian police. We hope that will be sustained. But we'll be having some stakeholders here in the studio to x-ray the reasons why this is going on, why this is going on unabated. I mean, just a few years ago, there was a comprehensive raid. Could it be that after the raid, no one was prosecuted, no one was convicted, and so you have these guys lose the game? Well, we'll be talking along those lines on the show today. We'll begin a discussion on the show today on a spiritual note. And that's because I have a very special guest in the studio. He is a Krishna priest and also a life coach. I'd like to thank very specially Devarish Das for finding time to be part of TMI Monday. Das, many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Today on the show, our focus is on something that you usually will refer to, particularly when something good happens or something bad happens. So, well, this is the law of karma at work or playing itself out. The question is, what is the law of karma? How does it operate? What are the categories? And is it restricted to some religion, or it is applicable to all religion? How is it related or different from Newton's Newton's third law of motion? These are some of the questions we'll be asking on the show today. But first, let's get to know our guest here deeper. Many thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thank you, sir.
So at what point did you decide to become a Krishna conscious person? Were you born into it? Or maybe there were some life experiences, challenges that brought you into it? Were you initiated into it? How did you get into becoming someone that is Hare Krishna priest? Yeah.
Thank you very much for welcoming me. I joined in Ghana, and most times in life there's something called Y junction. That's anytime in life you feel that there's something that you need to do in life that you are not doing, you will not feel happy in life. So I was very, very inquisitive, trying to know about myself. Why am I here in this material world? What is my aim? Where am I going after that? What is the aim of human life? So I began to ask different people, and I was not satisfied with the answers I got from them. So somebody introduced me to Krishna consciousness, and I met some of the senior priests, and how they explained to me, I felt very well pleased and satisfied. So from there I decided to be a member, and from there I've been diving into it and getting more realization, more deeper understanding of life.
You said you got indoctrinated in Ghana.
Yeah.
That's supposed to mean you are a Ghanaian.
I am a Ghanaian.
And so what are your real names then?
My name is David Osei Asamoah.
David Osei Asamoah.
Yes.
So how did Devarish Das come about?
Okay, most times when you take baptism or initiation, your spiritual master, because he knows both present and future,
Okay.
he is able to define the kind of personality you are and give you a specific name that resemble your personality. So the spiritual master gave this name, Devarishi. Yes.
So if your name is David Osei Asamoah, that would mean at some point in your life you were a Christian.
Yes, I was a Christian.
Okay, so you were not satisfied with that. You needed more.
Yes, I needed more things about life that is very deep for people to understand. And the Holy Krishna consciousness was able to satisfy that. Yes.
You also said a while ago that your spiritual master, who is able to see the present, who knows the present and the future,
yes,
gave you the name Devarish Das, which is a description of your person.
Yes.
Your spiritual master is not God. So how is he able to see the future?
So spiritual masters are not ordinary beings. They come to this material world to just deliver the fallen souls. Most times people use their eyes, their if less mind or eyes to see them as a human beings, but they are above all this. By their activities, you will know that this person is not operating on the bodily platform. So we have many of them like that. Yes.
Okay, let's look at the law of karma, or karma as it's popularly called. What constitutes karma? How does he operate? Because this is something a lot of people make reference to every now and then.
Okay, when we say karma, many people use this karma thing and they don't really know where it's coming from. Is it English word or where is this word coming from? Karma is a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit is one of the oldest language in the world and is being spoken in some part of the Asian countries like India, the Tibet and some other places. They have more ideas on the Sanskrit. It's very, very ancient language. So when we say karma, they have a root word that is Kri. So karma simply means cause and effect. Whatever you do or whatever you sow, you reap. So that is karma.
How does he operate?
Okay, our activities, whatever we are doing in this lifetime, or whatever we are doing as a human being, we create good karma and bad karma. So everybody in this world is passing through karmic reaction. For one to be born as a Nigerian, to be born in Edo State or a particular family, a village, this law of nature design a kind of body, a kind of place, a family you need to be born into. So this, everything we are passing through in this world is based on our karma. Whatever we are experiencing, your knows how your body future is being designed. Everything is by karma. It's being designed by karma. Like that.
Okay. What is the connection between the operations of karma and the religion you belong to? Because karma, from what is available in literature, is something that is synonymous with Hinduism and Buddhism, which is more or less the sum total of a man's action, which has influence on his future existence. So how does that add up together?
Okay, karma is not a religion something. Karma, even if you are a Muslim, a Christian, you still pass through this experience. It's not being you a Christian or a Muslim or any denomination.
Okay.
You think that, oh, karma doesn't relate to me. No. Everybody is passing through it. Why? Because as you are living, you are doing you are doing activities, and as the activities you are doing, you are creating good or bad karmas. So it's not about Hindu or Buddhist. Like a child being born, it doesn't know anything about fire. But if you touch fire, the child will be burnt. So it's not by you understanding. Our ignorance of this is not an excuse. It's not an excuse. You must pass through it.
So that means experience is your best teacher. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, experience also is the best teacher. Yes.
But is it not possible to have that level of revelational knowledge, like you talked about some of the masters who have at the higher echelon of your practice, without necessarily experience it by divine, intuition? You can know stuff. Is it not possible?
Yes, by the mercy of the Lord and by the mercy of the pure devotees, one also can get all these things. Yes. That's why we encourage people that you should seek. You should, you are being born in this material world as a human form. This is the life, this is the opportunity for us to learn all these things, to learn about this karma and know how to be able to live our life nicely.
Is karma the same thing as Newton's third law of motion?
Yes.
Tell us more.
So Newton said every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Whatever you do as a man, your activities will produce your results. Like what I'm saying is that as a rich man, you are doing some activities like philanthropic activities, building schools and all these things. You are creating your next karma. You are creating your next karma. That your karma is that you come and enjoy what you have done. So whatever we are doing as a living entity, we will get the results, even if not this lifetime or next lifetime. So this body dies, but the soul is always eternal, which always take body based on the activities of the living entity. So this gross, like this body, there's a gross body, and this is the gross body, and we have the subtle body. The subtle body accompanies the soul wherever he goes, based on the activities of the on the soul, on the body. Like human, this lifetime we have 65% of our activities are based on karma, and 35% are based on our free will. We have our own ability to decide what we want to do. So as a human being, you can choose to do good and do bad. All depends on you how to create good and bad karma.
What is the core of Krishna consciousness as it relates to the law of karma?
The core is to let people understand what this material body is and explain things more deeper for people to understand that our activities, whatever we do, whatever we are doing, we have to be very careful, very, very careful, because today you are enjoying, tomorrow you don't know. So if you're able to live a righteous life by following the principles of religion, then we can be able to overcome and be able to be take a higher body or go back to the kingdom of God.
All right. Some of your explanations are rooted and grounded in the reference to the soul and the body. You've not made any mention of the spirit. And from the analysis, you recognize the fact that the spiritual controls the physical. So how does that add up?
The soul is the same as spirit. The soul is the same as spirit. The soul is eternal, part and parcel of God, which is Satchit Ananda, is eternally and blissful. The gross body is made up of mind, intelligence, and force ego. And this gross body is made up of earth, water, air, ether, and fire. 5 elements that makes this human gross body. So the spirit is the same as the soul people talk about.
If you just join us, it's still TMI Monday. I've been talking with our Krishna priest and life coach Devarish Das, who is a Krishna conscious person, as a priest at the Hare Krishna temple in Benin City, sharing some thought with us on the law of karma, its workability, its applicability, and how it affects a human being. But there are those who don't believe in the existence of karma. Does it still work for them or works against them?
That's why I made a statement. I said our ignorance is not based on, it doesn't have any effect. Being ignorance of karma, it's your own ignorance. Like we were traveling to America and we have some things which is contraband, some things that you cannot ship to the country. You say, when you are being arrested in America, you say, oh, I don't know. No, you can't say that. You surely be judged or taken to court, because it's not something that you're supposed to know. You're supposed to ask wherever you are going. So as a human being coming to this material world, this is a form of life that God has given us to know Him more better, because we have 8,400,000 species of life, and 4,000 are species of different forms of human being. We have the demigods, we have the archangels, we have the angels, we have the dwarves, we have different forms. Even the human form that we live on this earthly planet, we have different colors. People like if you go to India, you see different forms. Even in India or Nigeria, you see different colors, different hairstyle and everything. These are different forms of God. So it doesn't, our ignorance is not an excuse for us to do wrong thing and say at the end, I beg for forgiveness. No, you will still be judged by the laws of nature.
Okay, I'll come back to that point later. But let me take you back to karma and its seeming applications or workability as it relates to the practice of Buddhism and Hinduism. Is it because when you look at literature, that seems to be its origin? So tell us more.
It's because it's a Sanskrit word, and Buddhism and Hinduism, they study Sanskrit. That's why it's very common in those parts. But even in the Bible, it's there, karma is there. Whatever you sow is what you reap. It's the same thing. But because it's being compressed as a one word, as karma, that's why many people use it, yes, like that. So it's a common thing that is there, and it's reality that people should be careful with their activities. Yes.
In Hinduism or Buddhism, I don't know which of them now, there seems to be this consciousness of worshipping many gods. How does that add up in this description?
Okay, many gods. Hinduism, they worship many gods because they have access to them in the previous ages, which is, we have sun god, we have wind god, they have different names, and we have even money we are spending, there's a personality in charge. Everything God created, you have a minister who is managing everything. So in the olden age, they feel more comfortable to worship the personality based on what the personality is in charge of. Maybe sun god, they need a sun for their farming or rain. They worship Indra, which is called, who is the sun god, the king of heaven, who is Indra, the lord of rain. So most times they worship all those personalities to get benefit. But Krishna consciousness, we see that all these activities, there's also karma bandhana, which is, it will bind us in this material world. Because whatever they give you, they will not give you the righteousness, what will lead you to the kingdom of God. They will just give you what you desire, that's all. But worshiping God, Krishna, he will give you what you need, it's not what you want. Krishna will give you what you need, not what you want. Many times people are desiring for so many things, but it's not what you need. It's what you want. God is going to give it to you. So Krishna will give you what you need, not what you want. Like that.
As a priest, it means that you conduct services,
yeah,
you conduct divinations, and all of these things that you do, there are people who perceive them as being akin to traditional religion, as being fetish. What are your perspectives?
So I don't see anything bad in that. All these things are God's nature, God's creation. God creates this divination for us to know what is going to happen in the future. Even in the Bible, we can say that when Jesus Christ was born, there was 3 wise men that they saw the stars. They were able to identify that there's a great personality being born. They were astrologers. So being an astrologer doesn't mean you should go and you kill something or no. It's a science that if you able to study this science by seeing the stars, by seeing how the location of the cosmic stars and the sun is being positioned, you'll be able to tell something about some people's life. Like if today somebody is being born, there's a personality ruling this day, particular hour, time and everything. So with those kind of details, you can be able to tell the future of the person. It's not by using magic or any spiritual.
So this is not magic. That's
it's not magic. It's a science. It's a science that everybody can learn. You don't need to go and do some witchcraft or go and get something imbued in you or some cutting of something. Then they put.
In the practice of magic, it also takes the same process of learning, initiation, indoctrination. So how do you differentiate both?
This one is different. This is not magic. This is astrology. It's the constellation of the world. And these things is something that is not bad, that you need to maybe kill something or no. To know the future. It's a science that everybody should try to learn.
And you have learned it?
Yes.
And you are applying it?
Yes.
So are you an astrologist?
Yes. I deal with astrology. I consult people based on astrology because you have teachers and we have people who are senior to you. You have to consult them based on the charts of the person. There are different locations of each house that a person will be, that you can tell what is going to happen in the person's life, which you don't need to do something very offensive, something that is going to create harm to people or any living entity.
I believe that there are a lot of masters and high class of beings, based on what you described earlier, in the Krishna consciousness across the world. Are you concerned that there are a lot of problems and challenges in the world that seems to have deferred solutions?
Yes, there's a lot of problem in this world. And the solution is that when we begin to see that our activities are creating our future, So we should know what to do and what not to do. We'll be able to checkmate all these difficulties. Like if you are a leader and you are being put in a particular place to serve people, not to dupe them or get what you want, selfish interest. If you do that, you are creating problems for yourself and creating problems to your generation. So we feel that any position or any place you are being placed as a manager or to rule people, to serve people, you are not there to even to accumulate things. You are going to serve the community. So you should do things that will not bring bad karma to yourself and your generation.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making, that with all these priests and masters across the world, they have the capacity to know, to see yesterday, today, and even the future. Why is the world in so much turmoil and crisis and problems? Why can't they come up to say, look, this what's going to happen tomorrow. This is going to happen in future. So these challenges are averted. Why is that difficult to be ascertained?
You need a self-realized person to understand this. Like many of them are being, the karmic reaction is so heavy on them that whatever you tell them, they will not understand. So you need a self-realized, somebody who is really deep in consciousness, to be able to find and locate these people and be able to ask, okay, what should we do? How many leaders in the world are trying to do that, that will be approaching saintly people to ask them for advice, how to do things and what is in the future? No. How many of them are doing that? Many of them are just on their own, doing their own things based on their consciousness, which is not going to work. In the previous ages, we call them Raja Rishis. They are kings, the monarchs. They rule the world. So they have people that they call them Brahmins, priest people, that they always associate with them, ask them for advice. What should be my next decision or approach on certain issues, because they can see before and they don't have self-interest in whatever they are doing. They are able to give the right thing. But nowadays, how many people are doing this? Everybody is on his own. If it's a big man, everybody worship the person. It doesn't mean if it's very rich or big in a society, that shows that he has big intelligence or he can see far. You need to approach somebody who is also even very small, but what he can tell you is even higher. So many of the leaders are not doing this. So this is how we are going to pass through problems and problems and problems. If they are able to meet a self-realized person who is not doing things based on his self-interest just to collect people's money and deceive them. No, to tell them the truth. You are going wrong. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. You should take this direction. By following this, because they are very connected with the subtle realm, they can be able to succeed in life, succeed in their managing places.
Why do we have to wait for the people to come to us? We are super beings. We are masters. We can see today, we can know today, we can see tomorrow, and bring that tomorrow to today. Why do we have to wait for them to come? If we can see today, or we can know today, we can see tomorrow, and we'll bring that tomorrow to today, why don't we go to them? We tell them. If they take, fine. If they don't take, we've done our own part.
Yes, many of them are doing that. Many of them are doing that. That's why also, by the mercy of our masters, also they pushed me to do this, to say something to the public, that they can also know that this is what is going on, and also can make another steps. So around the world, we have many masters are going to different places, preaching, enlightening people about whatever is going to happen. Yes. what we feel is that we want people to change their lifestyle, change to good. By changing our lifestyle in the way our thinking, our activities, all this will create good vibration to make things happen. So we are doing it. It's not for them to always just jump to them like that. How will you value him? You will not value them because we have been seeing so many people being cheated and also these things. So like that, they can also approach them.
If you're talking about value, isn't that pride?
It's not pride. It's not pride. Their level is not pride. To see somebody's importance is not pride. It's not pride. Because the person you are going to meet is not on the level of trying to tell you some things that is not going to help you. It's going to tell you the right thing. It's going to tell you the right thing. So it's not pride. They didn't boast themselves. They are not boasting. It's for us to approach them to take, because it's said in one of our scriptures that for a living entity, you must approach a self-realized soul with sincere service endeavor, and ask by sincere service, the self-realized soul will impart the knowledge unto you. It's not disciple. It's not a guru who looks, a spiritual master who looks for a disciple. It's a disciple who looks for spiritual masters. So it's for our responsibility as a living souls to look for the great people, the pure souls, and surrender unto them.
These pure souls, are they restricted to those in the Krishna consciousness?
Like in what sense?
When you say pure souls, the question is this within the confines of the spiritual consciousness called Krishna consciousness?
No, they are everywhere.
In other religions?
In other religions.
Okay.
In other religions.
Okay, let's look at this. You said a while ago that karma is the same thing as Newton's third law of motion, which says that for every action, there is always an equal and opposite reaction. And then you said that whatever you do, you get the repercussion.
Yes.
Whatever seed you sow, good or bad, you get the harvest.
Yes.
And that when you do, whatever you do, it doesn't change the law of karma. It must come to pass.
Yes.
Judgment must come to pass.
Yes.
That's your.
It must come in this lifetime or next lifetime. Like whatever, as I said, based on the consciousness of the living entity, whatever you are doing, you are creating a consciousness for your next life. You know? So some people are always desiring their envy of people. The next life, nature will design a particular form that you can enjoy that kind of things you are desiring.
Okay.
If you are a woman, or if you are a man, you are always naked in yourself or womanizing, sleeping with men anyhow. In your next life, nature will design that you will take a form that you don't need anybody's permission. You can be able to access to that desire and be able to satisfy yourself. It's only when you are able to get the divine mercy of the Lord, then you can be able to jump from that level to a higher level and be able to help yourself and go back.
With the applicability, workability of the law of karma, it means there's no forgiveness.
There's forgiveness.
So where does forgiveness come in, if irrespective of whether I change or not, So long as I've done that thing wrong, judgment may surely come. That's what law of karma means.
Yes, the karma will come, but it will not be heavy as before. If you're able to see yourself that this thing I did was very wrong, and you pray sincerely within your heart, God will forgive you. But that you must get something which what is meant for you before will be minimized.
Okay.
Yes.
To be minimized.
Yes.
So it means there's no forgiveness.
That's
what
that
it
is
means.
forgiveness.
How is that forgiveness if I have repented? Or are you saying there is nothing like repentance? We need Krishna consciousness.
Yes, you can repent. You can repent and not going back to that activity again.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yes.
Yes. And with the mercy of the Lord also, he can see to it that, oh, this person is sincerely praying within his heart, I forgive this person.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
But you pray sincerely, then you still continue. Then you keep praying.
No, we're not talking about the person continues now. Sincerely.
Sincerely,
yes.
Yes. The Supreme Lord is so merciful, he will forgive you.
He will forgive you.
Yes, he will forgive you.
And then the karma will not be applicable to you. So is karma still a law in that sense?
Yes, it's a law of nature. It's a law of nature, but only God can intercede that.
Okay.
God can be able to check, this thing should not work. Because this person, he sincerely and from within his heart, he have said, no, I will not do this thing again. Sincerely, and he will not go back to that activity again. And when one is able to see all these things and take to spiritual consciousness, perform some spiritual activities to rectify whatever he have done before, that will help the person. It's not just by just praying. You must perform something. You understand?
That you must make
effort,
sacrifices.
yes, sacrifice. By doing austerities, penance, by doing some things that shows that you are really sorry for what you have done. Then that forgiveness will be granted. You have to take to spiritual activity, which is higher to what you have done before.
Yeah.
To rectify those activities.
Okay, which is higher would mean that if someone kills and seeks forgiveness within the ambit of the law of karma, such a person will not be forgiven.
It depends.
Judgment must come on that person.
Yes, judgment must come to that person.
Yes.
Judgment must come to that person, but it depends. The Lord can also decide, maybe in his next life, he will realize that he did this kind of thing and do some spiritual activities. That's why the presence of pure devotees, association with wonderful devotee of the Lord is very important. Sometimes by their association, one's karma or activity or one karmic reaction can be nullified. Yes. So somebody killing somebody, in the olden days, to help the person is to kill the person back, because the person will also take a form to be killed by somebody. So to help the person from that karma, they kill the person. That was the olden days.
Yes.
But now it's not done like that. We have different some laws govern all those things. So if the person do all those things and it's not being properly checked, in his next life, he must face the same thing. He must face what he did to people.
There is a perception that there is no connection between the past, the present, and the future. I said that to say this. When a man dies, his spirit goes into the realms of the spiritual. And he or she doesn't even know what transpired in these earthly realms. But the impression that you have given, or the perspective that you have given, is as though the person leaves this realm, it goes into another form, it goes into... So I want to get that clarification.
The soul is always conscious of whatever is going on. So we heard that when the soul, the body die, the soul enter to another. The soul doesn't have any connection with your past.
Yes.
I said in the beginning that this gross body, there's this gross body and there's a subtle body.
Just go on.
There's a subtle body, and this subtle body carries the activities of the gross body with the soul.
Okay.
This subtle body, which is the mind, intelligence, and the force ego, it carries these activities from one species of life to another species of life. So the soul is on its own, and the subtle body is carrying this soul along inside different forms. So there's a connection. If there's no connection, why am I born in Nigeria, not in America? Why am I born in a poor family? Why am I born in this particular village? Is the previous activities that come arranged for you to be to go and enter in a particular family that you experience the degree of your karma? You understand? Mm-hmm. So the subtle body carries this soul to the next form. That whatever activities also that body will do, also you will carry that from. So we are coming from different species of life. So if you become spiritually developed, you can be able to perceive all those things.
So how do you explain someone born into a poor family? It goes through a very challenging moment, hardship, like you said, and then at some point the person is able to break loose, becomes wealthy, becomes rich, and then become a very influential person in society. From your analysis, the person being born into that poor family is a product of his previous life. Yes. Maybe in his previous life he was rich, but he's born into a poor family so he can experience what it means to experience hardship. Yes. But here's a person, built his life, went to school. I mean, despite the challenging nature of the environment, was able to get into a prosperous life. So how do you correlate this? Does it add up by your explanation?
That's why I said that is the activity of your previous life.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever you do,
in your previous life you were rich.
Yeah, you are rich.
Yes.
And you have come back as a poor.
As a poor person.
And as you graduate, as you grow up, you become rich again.
Yes.
That is the level of the person's karmic reaction. It's not that you are rich that shows that you have overcome karma. No. In that, even being a rich person, there are a lot of problems, there are a lot of things that you are going to also face being that person. So there are challenges and over challenges you are going to experience, even being a rich or poor, based on the degree of your karmic reaction.
The reason I ask this question is that the law of karma says, what you sow, you reap. Whatever you do, you get judgment. That judgment could be in your present life or in subsequent future existence that you will come. But the question I'm asking her is that in the person's previous life, he was a rich person. The law of karma says, well, in this next life, you become a poor person. So you experience what poverty means, what hardship means. But somewhere along the line, there's a twist, there's a turn. The person now becomes wealthy in the course of life. Does that add up?
That's what I'm saying, that the activity of the person.
Yes.
I was saying that whatever you do as you are creating your next life, that will also reflect in your next life. Maybe the person did something in his previous life, maybe he used his money to maybe do something against a poor person. You understand? So you have to be in that shoe and experience that kind of situation.
Okay.
Then at the time, things can also change. Things can change like that.
What is the perception of the Krishna consciousness of God?
Krishna consciousness.
How does one who is in Krishna consciousness, how does he see God? How does he see God, and how does he see assessing God? Krishna consciousness, is it a way of life or another of man's attempt to have a relationship with God?
Krishna consciousness. Krishna simply means God who is all attractive. God who is always attractive, and consciousness. So being conscious of God is your activities, your way of life, being always conscious of God 24 hours.
Okay.
Be conscious of God 24 hours
Okay.
every day.
Okay.
That is Krishna consciousness. It's not man-made, man way of, no. It's our eternal religion. As a living entity, we should be God conscious at every moment. Even in the Bible it says, calls upon the names of the Lord. One must be close to God and calls the names of God, and you shall be saved. So we are always...
Anyone who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Yeah.
So we have to be conscious of God 24 hours. That is what Krishna consciousness is all about, to teach people how to be more God conscious in your day-to-day life. Engage yourself in spiritual activities that will elevate this bodily form and go back to the kingdom of God. Because
as a priest, somebody comes to you and says, look, so and so has offended me. I want to take this person out of this world.
First of all, I have to... The person is already having some things in his mind. You have to be able to slash those negative thoughts from the person's mind. Because you tell them, oh no, I can't do this, go to another person. No. The person will still go to another place and the person may do it. So you have to let the person understand the reason behind it. You have to really counsel the person, be able to make the person feel that whatever happens is our own activities, whatever we have done in our previous life. Not just tell the person like that. You have to sit the person down, explain things, details. Then the person become convinced. You tell the person, leave the person to go. God will handle the issue for you. So forget about it, like that. You don't just tell the person, oh, it's your karma. No, it's not good. You have to let people understand it's deep. When they get deep understanding, they can be able to work on that.
All right, so I want to thank you for coming on the program. Devarish Das is a Hare Krishna priest and also a life coach, and as well as an astrologist. He's been sharing some thought with us along the lines of the law of karma, its workability, its applicability, and all of that issues came up along the way in the course of our discussion. I'm sure that some other time we'll have you here again.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
obliged us. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a TMI Monday. For reasons, obvious reasons, we decided to play down on politics today. Politics just can't take over the whole space. We'll be right back after this break to look at other issues, particularly as it relates to security. Don't go away.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thanks again for rejoining me on the show, TMI. Beautiful Monday morning. Well, there's been some huge concerns for the people of the state, particularly in Benin City, where there's been an upsurge in cult-related killings. I mean, at a dimension that many say has never been seen before. Today on the show, we're explaining this with a view to finding a lasting solution. I have with me in the studio a lecturer, a teacher, and someone who has also been at the forefront to see how all of these issues can be drastically reduced. He coordinates the group called Rainbow in the state, which of course it's organized, so to speak, to see how there can be some engagement with key stakeholders, issues like this, to find a frontal attack in dealing with the issue. John Osazowa, it's always a delight to have you on our programs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay, with the existence of rainbow as a cosmopolitan, multicolored group, so to speak, why are we having this scenario where there seems to be an upsurge in cult-related killings in the state?
Thank you very much. I must sincerely thank ITV, radio and television, for taking that bold step, developing that political will to bring to the limelight these burning issues. Most media houses do run away from such things. Being a very formidable media house that educates and enlightens, also entertains, I must really thank you for this great honor.
Thank you.
Cultism ontologically exists. It exists. It's just the way it has been played. For the benefit of the viewers, cultism or cult is a group of individuals with common interests who come together and relying on the fundamental rights of freedom of association, freedom of assembly. They decide to come together for a common purpose. The common belief on the street that they worship a particular idol, a particular thing, that is wrong, because you have both the Muslim, the Christians, the non-religious group. They are members of this group. Frankly speaking, that is epistemologically, is that the reasons, people have to know the reasons why people become or desire to become members of this before we begin to go into the causal effect that is happening now. Is that, one, in the 50s, during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, in the secondary school, you have these groups who come together for a patriotic reason, in quote, patriotic reason of fighting victimization, oppression, seduction, etc., other social, academic devices, social vices. So it is there. Again, the public should also know that you have various types of cult groups. You have cultural cult groups. In fact, the oldest cult groups that is known in Nigeria is the Ogboni Confraternity, which the colonial master made use of because they are the influential people. They are blessed with this influence and access, which is a very viable device, political device in every society. So to this end, people within this tertiary institution where it emanated, where it evolved, began to be interested in becoming members of this group or the other, for them to have access and also influence within the academic environment. Over the years, things have changed. Things have changed in the sense that they have not left the schools in the 50s, down here now.
To the streets.
And many people became enticed, stigmatized, stimulated, to these organizations based on their primordial or pre-belief that this is a group of people who have a common sense of belonging, who have a social security, who develop this network for them to expand their social egoism or individual being. It's a group whereby both children from the rich and from the poor commune, fellowship together, and this gives them a sense of belonging psychologically. Okay. Intrinsically, it is good. Over the years, things have changed. Things have changed in the sense that most people who actually perpetrated, carried out these activities in the tertiary institutions then, were molded, they now abandoned as a result of either marital or obligation reasons. They now abandon it to those who do not actually have the flair, who do not actually have the patriotic reasons for becoming there. Money now became source of interest. They now became division, just the way you have in the Nigerian society, division, cliques, and oligarchy within this particular group began to grow. When it began to grow, those patriotic people began to distance themselves from it, leaving it to some people who knew nothing about the philosophical foundation of this group. Hence, they started bringing in all sorts of people, different people based on financial gains, being of selfish interest. And whereby those who originally emanated from the schools, who are rational, because education is an agent of socialization, and knowing fully well that this group, they are also peer groups, and it's also an agent of socialization. It's the most complex agent of socialization. Now, whereby you now have irrational people, you know, mounting the leadership of this group, then the orientation changes. Then they now began to engage in rivalry. Before, it used to be academic rivalry, that this group, they are most intelligent, they are neat, they are disciplined. But these days, it is no longer so. It now became physical rivalry, you know, who is superior, who is not superior. To this end, the paradigm started shifting. Those who were educationally oriented to establish and to continue to reinforce this organization began to back out, and the people who are there now began to lead the group in an irrational way, in the sense that no group today that would say that they are not aware of those who are partaking in this dastardly, ungodly, unethical.
That's a very incisive statement that you just made. There is no group that will say they are not aware of those who are participating. Well, let me just, before you continue further, there are those who will feel that in your background analysis, it's like you're glamorizing this practice. One, that it is good, it's a way of peer group influence, is a way of fellowship amongst people of like mind. But it's on record that even in those days, those years where it was a campus-related thing, this kind of killings existed.
It did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means violence, killings, destruction has always been synonymous with this kind of setting.
Now, man naturally is a conflictual being. That is, conflict is an inevitable phenomenon among humans.
Okay.
Now, when groups begin to commune, to fellowship, and an ideology, the philosophy of rivalry, of superiority begins to crop in, of course violence will come in to show superiority. That was what led to the violence aspect of it. And now metamorphosed because it was not well managed. It was not well managed. Now, the way you, Sonny Duke, will react to certain situation in the society will be different from the unorganized interest group, in quote now, those uneducated, those illiterate. Are you getting it now? So what I'm saying is that at this stage, most people who are not educated have taken over the leadership of this organization. Now, where this organization becomes unethical, illegal, is when their activities are inimical to the constitutions, to the rules and regulations. But they are relying on that freedom of association and assembly. In other words, right. But they fail to realize that there are also fundamental human wrongs. So what they are doing is fundamental human wrong. And this is where the Constitution, the law enforcement agency, and other law-abiding citizens become concerned about the existence of such organizations. And this now is a concern. It must be a concern. Let me inform you and the public that because of the growth on a geometric rate of these groups, there is hardly any household that has beyond 2 male children. 2 male children that do not belong to a particular one group or the other.
Is this empirical?
Very, very empirical.
Or it's an assumption?
Very, very empirical. Very, very empirical. It is empirical. But you have both the males and females. What distorts the female is their marital status. Once they get married, they are taken, the husband can take them elsewhere. But thank God for this social media, they are beginning to fraternize. Now, in Benin, it is most painful and regrettable that at this stage that we should be experiencing, when we all condemn certain killings in other aspects of the country, that will now engage in taking of young lives. We've asked them, that is why Rainbow, which is a child of necessity, had to come in, that look, nobody that has died has gotten a gift such as coffee. That is the little bed rest, the little enclave, the little shelter, the last shelter for a disease. None of this group has purchased that for you. why then do you have to engage? There are factors that lead to this. One, envy, jealousy, fight for supremacy. These are the basic factors. And
in this recent development, what would you hold responsible for this? Because you mentioned envy, jealousy, fight for supremacy. What would you say is responsible for this upsurge?
Fight for supremacy. Fight for supremacy. That is the major thing. Now, one of the factors that has actually influenced this is that most of the leaders, not all, I will mention a particular group like the Yellow Hearts, since 2004, they have refused to fight. They assembled their members. The Yellow Hearts I'm talking about is, with due respect to you, my very good group, very good friends, the Buccaneers, brothers across Niger. They have not fought since 2004. They listen to the gospel of Rainbow. He don't do. Let us embrace peace. Now, when you are a leader of a group, you refuse to preach tolerance and compromise. It even means that you are preaching the opposite, intolerance and uncompromising. That is, any person that comes along your way that is not your member, you attack him, you subordinate him, you insult him and assault him, knowing fully well that no one has monopoly of violence. There is a place you will put someone to that he will react, he or she will react. To this end, these other groups that have been similarly, identified as weaker groups will now begin to build resistance. Look, you see that in Benin, that is, they begin to build resistance to see that, look, enough is enough. You see that we quench here or we do this. How do they do this? You have to engage in massive recruitment. Massive recruitment with unethical reorientation of hate this person that belongs to this group, and that further spur or reinforces that interest, that desire, that zeal to continue to hunt for the next person, the next group.
Okay.
It's leadership. They are well organized. Let me tell you this. Let me tell the public, they are well organized up to the village level. They are well structured that they have a very good chain of command. A very good chain of command. That is where the fear comes in. If it requires adequate coordination, they can actually coordinate. If they need 10,000 of their members right now, they will get them within few minutes because they know the sanctions. But what Rainbow has come to do is that let's begin to see ourselves neighbors. We are neighbors. No one was born brown color, blue color, your father's name is not green color or that color. We are neighbors. That you find yourself in this particular house doesn't mean that you have to hate yourself. This is what we are doing, and rotation started coming. For the very first time, Rainbow brought the platform whereby these groups had to meet, had to begin to first. We shared, we had seminars. Police were there, DSS were there, the military were there. The palace was ably represented by the Prime Minister. The chairman then Peace, Conflict and Resolution, Chief Edu Ekato, Edu Yofo, Obasanjo Benin Kingdom was practically there. Then we're practically there. The Commissioner of Police, they were all practically there. It was moving on well. And fine, in such thing, when you are being organized for a peaceful, the government gets attracted to you. And whatever came in, we brought about the neighborhood watch, to help absorb these people. Again, we also now went into how these people can go into viable activity, expend your energy. That is, we discuss, can we go into agriculture? You can use your area members to go into farming instead of engaging in this.
Vices.
Yeah. But after a particular tenor, like what is happening for us, for instance, like in the security forces that has actually be distorting the efficiency or the effectiveness of the peace and unity among these people, or the cooperation among these people, is that the redeployment of police officers and the resignation or the expiration of the leaders of this group. When you have a particular leader of this group that has been cooperating, collaborating, believing on the philosophy of this peace and cooperation among themselves, believing that, knowing fully well that they live on the same street, And after a particular period, they change mantle of leadership. And when they change mantle of leadership, others that will come in brings a new philosophical leadership ideology. Okay. And this, you know, greatly distract the attention. It now requires a fresh, and because it's a position that is so seen as very exotic, very honored, people dread such a thing, because there it is obey the command. Obey the command, or you meet or you embrace a very consequential, a painful consequences, okay. A regrettable consequences. Okay. Are you getting it? Yes. So this has been part of the distortions. We have leaders that are there.
You talked about why is it difficult for security agencies to nip this in the bud? From what has happened now, can't we be right to say that Rainbow has not lived up to its to the expectations or to the objectives?
We have just told you one of the challenges, change of leadership in these groups, okay. And change of leadership in the security. Last weekend, Friday, myself and Kabaka, we were here. Kabaka categorically said the police should start. Let me inform you today that there is no sector that you don't have members of this group, whether in the police, whether in the army, whether in the DSS, whether in the school, whether in the as bus drivers, as conductors. Now you now have shoot cobblers. You now have even cattle hustlers. You have crayfish sellers. You have pure water sellers. Are you getting it? It's everywhere. It's everywhere, even in the police. So what we are saying is that the security agency, yes, they have a great challenge. Whereby the challenge is that you don't expect the CP or the AIG of every state to know its members in the force. There are divisional heads. Within these divisions, frankly speaking, patriotically, there are members within this. Okay. It becomes so difficult for the police force to attack the problem headlong, because when they are strategizing, if a member is there, he will leak out the information. That is the greatest challenge.
So why was it easy for IGP Solomon Arase to raid those states at the time and get many of these?
Okay, I think this is a better platform to clarify that. With due respect to Solomon Arase, he didn't raid. He didn't raid. Those people were actually victim of circumstances. They were actually victim of circumstances. I ought to have been in that meeting. We were there on that first meeting with the then CP, and trying to strategize to see how the killings would stop. But immediately after the meeting, at the officers' mess that particular night, a vehicle belonging to one of the participants was allegedly used in killing that party youth chairman at Siloko Road. You cannot hold. We were hosted. There was a great refreshment. The CP was happy that his meeting with stakeholders to share, to see the way forward. You understand me? And that we cannot hold a meeting this afternoon, this very afternoon. And in the evening, you have given us the word. This was the committee of the heads, of the Heads Council, which Rainbow also created. The heads have never come together before. To meet. They hardly know each other. But we created that platform. And again, because of selfish interests and potencies, to some, they decided to hijack it. They came for the meeting. Now the following day, because they have disappointed the agreement reached on that particular day, that they will produce, they are tested that they will produce those who have carried out the killings. That is why I tell you that they actually know those who carry out the killings. If you want them to tell you, they will tell you. They will identify, because they know how to generate the names of the killers. Now, there was no allegation that they took money from the then comrade governor, that they were going to share on behalf unknown to Rainbow. They now call for another meeting without them even informing Rainbow who called for the assembly. Are you getting me? When they now got there, they were now apprehended, angered by that action of the killing of that youth leader, that party, whether PDP, under PDP or APC, youth leader. That angered. You cannot be a chief security officer after agreeing with stakeholders, and that particular, you just put your hands. Yeah. So Solomon Arase did not. It was a kind of a meeting is taking place and let us use the opportunity to arrest them. That was what happened. There were other people. What I had expected is that those people ought to have been cautioned, education. Okay, now give me the list. Let me tell you, Kachi Udoji was a commissioner of police in this state. There was a time whereby somebody, after holding a meeting with us, assembled the groups, holding a meeting with us, and this particular group from the greenhouse, with due respect, with the greenhouse, killed somebody after the meeting. And he ordered, then Al-Hassan, who is now the deputy commissioner of police in Ogun State, now ordered, you must produce this person within 24 hours. The greenhouse went. Oh, he lives in Ogun Street. These are very empirical evidence. They brought the person. The person was taken to the court. He was jailed. He spent 4 years. 4 years in Oko. The house brought him, caught him. Who is this person? A casket maker. I wanted to
understand the level of,
of infiltration of another thing. You know, they brought the person, and Kachi Doju was very happy.
Okay, now something very striking that you just said is that the leadership of this group, they know those who are perpetrating this act.
Very well.
So which means if this challenge is to be nipped in the bud, is to get this leadership involved.
Get them involved, not on confrontational.
Okay.
Not on confrontational.
Confrontational, okay. Now,
because they change before you come. They change leadership.
Okay.
If you are able to establish a patriotic rapport with them, establish it. Let it be a continuous one. Rainbow will not be there. I'm a lecturer, for goodness sake. I just completed my PhD program. I won't be there. I'm very occupied. I just, out of patriotism, nationalistic tendencies, that is why I'm engaged in Rainbow. You understand me? If they are able to establish this, and that knowing fully well that there's going to be redeployment of CP, other officers, let there be a continuation of their relationship.
So there's no, there won't be distortion.
There won't be distortion. Then they will not be able to say, okay, now at this particular, for instance, New Benin, these are the names of the leaders of this jurisdiction. If anything happens, please call. Call this. Then you have a smooth relationship. Then from there, the security agency will also now re-educate and re-enlighten them on how they can change their philosophy, that devilish philosophy of killings. You understand me? For instance, I just got after Friday's show that from a very reliable source that because of these incidents, which is actually creating embarrassment for a particular group, let me name the group.
No, there's no point naming groups.
No, I should like NBM.
Yes.
They are embarking on biometrics now. They want to embark on biometrics. Most of them, they don't even know their members. You understand me? They are going on a biometric. And if that is taken on a very patriotic note, it becomes a welcomable idea. You understand me? Know your members. Not that we say you catch them, they say, it's my member, you say it's not your member. And when they get to the police station, they confess, and you are saying it's not your member. So it's a very welcome development. Let them have biometric, and let the security agency establish a collaborative, not a confrontational relationship to them. The security agency will not be able, because they have infiltrators inside. Are you getting me?
You said a while ago that this upsurge in recent killings is supremacy battle. Okay. And you also said that it can be nipped in the bud or dealt with if the leadership of the groups involved are carried along.
Very well.
There's been talks that some groups are pulled out of Rainbow. May also be a factor in what is happening now. That's on the one hand. Could you respond to that?
A particular group pulled out of Rainbow, and that is particular group, the black people, black color, pulled out of Rainbow. Like again, as I said, as a result of leadership, which some of the older rational members are reacting to. Why? Again, in such institutions, you don't question the number one person. He's seen as a demigod. He has power, absolute power that he himself sometimes cannot even comprehend, whereby the mighty and low calls him bros, bigger bros. I don't want to be using the language here, bigger bros, you know. So when such person comes, you can see a philosophical shift in paradigm now. Others have embraced it. They've been following, and one came and said, no, we don't need it for a particular reason. Perhaps when others come, they will want to come in. But I wouldn't want to say that it's because of the Apollina that is creating this. No. The rainbow is a child of necessity. What I'm saying, as a Benin man, I will not be alive to see people or blood being spilled in my own state. I'm a royal son. I cannot and I will not. And there are people who are also very much concerned that detest these killings. And if it comes to that particular extent, I will mobilize, they know me, I will mobilize the Benis, the Ishans, that is the indigenes, to rise up and fight against these people. I can do that, they know. We are just waiting for some time. That a particular group pulls out. That a yam leaves the pot doesn't mean that others should not boil to become an edible, nutritious and something. No. If a particular group pulls out, okay, pulls out. But there are some members who belong to this group that still appreciate. What is the problem with you embracing peace? What is the problem? Can't you discuss? Can't you dialogue? Man is naturally conflictual. In other words, you have man versus self, man versus nature, man versus supernatural, man versus destiny. It's all there. And you live among yourself. You don't know, the person you have killed might be the Joshua to another person that will take that person to the land of blessing. Are you getting me? Okay. And you have just terminated that person's life. And let me tell you, you people that are still taking this instruction from your leaders that for you to go and kill, if you think it's a pride, you have stained your destiny. And the curses will come upon you the day you know. The day you'll be looking for God's favor, God's mercy, God's grace, God's protection. God will say, when this person, of course, you know when you are killing, the person must beg you, I beg you in the name of Jesus. I beg you in the name of God. I beg you in the name of Allah. You shot that person. Then you think God, you are not asking God. You wake up in the morning, you say, God, bless me. God cannot bless you. You have stained your destiny. Tell your leaders, enough is enough. It don't do.
At what point did you come to this self-realization?
1998. I was just student. I was working with Celtel then. Just came to me to taking my bath. The secretary is also a lecturer, Uniben. He said I had a dream. God said I should tell people to come and stop these killings. After a particular killing, I saw the woman lamenting, the only child at Owina, lamenting. I felt so pained that there must be, if somebody started this organization with orientation of fight against oppression, and now it has developed into such a dastardly act, then someone has to change it. Ideology is an idea. It has to be direct. It has to have a sense of direction. It has to have speed. It has to have methodology. And I just after discussing with one or two people from other people, I was also a student union leader, an activist, So they agreed with me, and Chris Akio, I met with him to go to Bayelsa, spoke with a lot of stakeholders. They said it's a welcome development. And for Safama, Agbakma and all the rest, that was how we started. We approached the palace, and the palace said, okay, it's a welcome development, but we cannot discuss with you if it's not registered. In fact, His Royal Majesty gave us, gave us 20,000 naira to go and register it at the Ministry of Youth Affairs. And from there, after praying there, once I came, we've had meetings. We've gone to the villages to perpetuate this gospel, to preach this gospel. We've gone to Uriomo, we've gone to Ogara, we've gone to Agbaro, we've gone to Urele, we've gone to Auchi. There is this network. We can nip it on the board. We're just saying, it's through this particular medium, we don't fight you, we can't fight you. It's only when you go beyond the bond of still killing after meetings, then Rainbow comes in, who identify you, who give you a call, we already know you. Once they kill, they don't stay within the area, they go away. And the area they're going to, they don't know. For instance, why is this killing not taking place in where Rainbow has a very strong hold, Ugboyoko? Why is it not taking place at Trade Fair area? You have a very strong hold there. Despite the leadership of some of groups have told them, pull out, they refuse. One man squad at Ugboyoko is doing tremendous job. Victor and the other men, they are doing tremendous job. If you fight, they will come to your house. Look, you must leave Ugboyoko. You understand me? We are neighbors. We quarrel, but we don't have to kill. That is just the philosophy.
What is your take on the perspectives that these killings is to attract government patronage, which some say was very regular in the previous administration compared to the present administration?
Government patronage. I wouldn't say big government patronage. First of all, the government receives security vote. If there are security challenges, government should go in. The former governor, the comrade, knew that the basic problem, this is actually the basic problem, cultism. Once they are fighting, they are robbing. Once fighting is taking place, they are robbing. Just know that it goes pari passu. You know.
What is the nexus between fighting and robbing?
Most of them are armed robbers. You know, when you begin to fight, you have to recruit people who have guns, who can shoot, who shoot at will. Armed robbers are those who shoot at will. You get it. So they are very much related. At the time, we also needed. They were also kidnappers. You know that we needed. Rainbow has contact with these militants. You know, recent Reverend Sisters, we intervened, but unknown to the public. I have to give kudos to the great Commissioner of Police. You know, who actually had to strategize very well. You know, we meet. Now, there is a strong relationship between cultism and crime. Please don't rule out that. I cannot expatiate on that here. Cannot expatiate. So when you are able to nip it on the bud, you are solving a lot of problems. So for the former governor to engage in sometimes, not just patronage, talking to them, please stop this, was not a bad idea. And I see no reason why this governor, that was why he came up with neighborhood, but they abused it. You saw a lot of people bringing in names. People were not even around, they were in abroad. They were collecting money. That was what an angered comrade governor, and they stopped it. And there was also one that was a kidnapper. Myself and the retired DSP, NSC Kogwe. We had to go into it. He's from a particular group. We took the case to the comrade governor. I said, sir, with this development, I think let's see how let's suspend this program. Let's go for an evaluation. So the present governor should cue in patriotically, cue in objectively. He has to raise. I'm not saying that, and every idol's mind is a devil's workshop. Yeah. Not every hungry man is an angry man. Are you getting me? Sometimes hunger teaches you wisdom, brings you wisdom. It helps you to comparatively evaluate yourself for a progressive, you know, enhancement. Yeah. So to some that are not deviant, by sociology call them deviants. Yeah. You know, they decide to say, I'm not working, I'm not doing this, so they begin to do. Let the current governor, the government, cue in, but again objectively. Okay. But it must be in synergy with the palace and the security agency. This has been our template. We have submitted it long ago. The palace and the security agency. Why the palace is fixated? Fixated in the sense that you hardly change the chiefs that will be delegated to
administer
on this issue.
Yeah.
But the security agency will be redeployed sometime unknown. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So the records will be there. By the time you establish this relationship with these groups leaders, are you getting me? Group leaders. And there is an accord. Then you have somebody to call. You understand me? So, and you'll be solving a lot of problems. Create a kind of job. Create a challenge. Tell them, look, the best group that can cultivate 20 acres of farmland, this is your gift. The best group that can cultivate maybe environmental sanitation, this is your gift. Help them. They are agents of society. They are peer groups, for goodness sake. It is the most complex agent of socialization in the world. It cannot be controlled. It is discretional. They live their life discretionally. Okay. Unlike the religious body, it is not discretional. It is guided by rules and regulations. Yeah. The family, an agent of socialization, is being regulated by rules and regulations. Okay. The media, an agent of socialization, political parties, you know, educational system, agent of socialization, are being regularized by rules and regulations. Okay. But the peer groups are discretional. This one, bam, correct. That's what we do. You know, kind of irrational, discretional, this thing.
Aren't you afraid of your life? I mean, going into this venture.
Why should I be afraid of my life? Nobody owns life.
Because you've been there at that level before.
Yes. God is the owner of life.
Are you a changed person?
God,
Are you a changed person?
Completely. God is the owner of life. They know that they've not attempted me. God is the owner of life. Have you not seen situations whereby there is an accident, one person comes out? Have you not seen whereby when I was working in Sercha, they shot somebody? A mobile policeman mistakenly shot somebody. It went through the heart. It came out. He didn't die. He just heard my voice in the emergency ward at the UBTH, and he woke up. The doctor said I should stay. I should start talking to him. You understand me? It is not, power belongs to God. Life belongs to God. Let me tell you, it is not the man with the gun that is the best man that shoots. No. The man with the AK-47, the man with Oka made can kill the person with AK-47. So it is not a matter of this thing. If God says this is the day I'm going to die, that is the day. If he's going to say I'm going to die through the bullet of this person, yes. If
because I just spoke with a Krishna conscious person who says there's law of karma.
Of course.
What you sow, you reap.
Yes.
And the judgment must come. You believe in such things?
Very well. Very well. Now, what about Saul? Saul that became Paul was evil. The grace of God changed me, has changed me. But that does not mean that I do not know what to do. But again, let me kind of way of rounding up.
What do you mean by that? You do not know what to do?
In case I'm being attacked, I have to defend myself. That is what I'm saying. That I have to defend myself. Again, I must comment if it is true that the group such as the group like MBM is saying they want to go on biometrics. It's a very welcome development, and I wish them well. They have to objectively carry this out, and I believe with this, with the community, this situation stimulated them to carry out this. And
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I'm always enamored by the fact that you could, steer the ship in this direction, and also give very detailed insight into how this can be nipped in the bud.
Yes.
And if we have more people joining you,
we have
far more than what you have already.
Okay.
I'm sure that we'll have a solution, and then this wanton waste of lives will be a thing of the past. Many thanks again for joining us on. Well, that's our show today on TMI. We hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. Thank you for staying with me on the show every day and every week. Okay, big thanks to all our crew members. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun. Thank you for staying with us. Have a great week ahead. Bye for now.